Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, March 23rd. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amy Kaur, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, and we're live out of the Goose Island office. We have a great episode for you today. So grab your coffee, tea, power smoothie, or lemon water, and let's dive into the next session of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Yes, exactly right. We have a great episode today, so make sure your coffee is full, like Amy said. And today, we're continuing our agent interview series. So we have two fabulous agents joining us today, and we're going to talk through things like the market and also how, as the market changes over the coming months and year, how they're going to make sure that their pipeline remains full.
Yes, so let's jump into it. I am extremely excited to welcome Olin Eargle from the Goose Island office and Young Lee from our Arlington Heights office. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, guys. Me and Kevin. Good to see you guys. Olin, great to see you as always.
You too, sir. Happy to be here.
We have a lot of great things to talk about this morning. So the market is hot. We all know that. So let's talk a little bit or briefly about what is happening in each of your markets. So Young, can you tell us what's going on in your market in Arlington Heights?
Yeah, so as you were mentioning, the market is extremely hot right now. Listings are flying off the market. And multiple offer situations, homes are selling for above list price in a lot of scenarios. And so it's just a very competitive market in which it's more important than ever, I feel like, for us to show our expertise to our clients during this market.
And Olin, you're in the city right now. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing and what you've got going on with your clients.
Yeah, so I work primarily on the north side of the city from the Loop up to the North Shore area. And in the city, I'm seeing a lot of activity with both first-time buyers that are jumping into homeownership at this time. You know, they're taking advantage of the still low but rising interest rates. But also there's a lot of COVID-related changes that I'm seeing with people of all experiences. So first-time buyers and people who have sold multiple times before. But everybody's really focusing right now on what home means to them. I'm one of those. I actually moved back in November myself and upgraded. So a lot of people are finding out that they need new space and need something completely different to what they had previously had. So there's a lot of like 1 and 2 bedroom condos that are upgrading from smaller units, or even 2 bedroom condos that are upgraded into single family homes and so on. So a lot of people are taking kind of what we've been dealt and really putting that into what their housing needs are during this current climate.
Got it. So given that, Young, you know, how are you preparing your sellers? Because I know, like, throwing a seller into this competitive market, how is your process working with your sellers currently so they are prepared to jump into something like this?
Yeah, so I think it is more important than ever to really explain to them what the market is like, but also help them in terms of what we need to do. And with the expectation of homes selling so quickly, a lot of our clients then also need to find another home. So kind of going and explaining that whole process of, okay, we're going to do our marketing, we're going to do a coming soon to try to build anticipation. And during this time that we're getting your property ready, let's really showcase it in the best light possible. But while we're doing that, let's try and also coordinate what you want to do moving forward, because selling your home might not be the issue, but finding you another home might be the issue. So again, managing those expectations, figuring out a timeline, as well as coordinating how we're going to market the property and really try to utilize the coming soon aspect of it to not only buy us some more time to help them with their future, but also just get as much exposure for them and show our value, as opposed to being like, oh, I put it in the MLS and it sold in 12 hours.
Those are some really good points, Young, and I agree, because I've been, speaking to my sellers, they have to be immediately ready to separate themselves from their property and understand that it's now a business decision. And I know that's hard for a lot of people, especially with the fact that we've been living through COVID and now they're uprooting their family and moving. But the market is moving super fast. And We're seeing that all the hot properties are getting multiple offers. In fact, I have a seller who, before we even took photos, we had so much activity on the PLN and on TAN that we did a preview and got 9 parties through and received 5 offers all over list price. And I think it shocked all of us at how fast that actually happened. So I had to actually sit down with the seller and determine with them what offer was actually best for them, what was a good business decision at this time. And it ended up being a really big struggle between 2 families that both wrote really cute letters to the family. And my client even cried a little bit trying to decide between the 2. But as hard as that was to do, they had to make the best business decision for their family and their current living situation. So I just try to always prep my sellers and talk with them from the very beginning, like you said, Young, that not only are we looking at selling your property now, but we're also looking at purchasing the next property and how that transition is going to happen, and talk about all the possibilities from the beginning. Definitely mentioning multiple offers and explaining what that means to them so that they're prepared for it and that it's not a surprise if it does happen. But what's ironic is that in the same respect, I have a 1-bedroom down in the middle of the loop and I can't pay somebody to show it right now, you know? So having that type of discussion on the flip side with my seller was really tough as well about the downtown business market and COVID related stuff and why he's not getting a lot of showings. So we're having to really sit down with both our sellers on a property that might fly off the market, as well as properties that might sit, unfortunately, and explain both of those.
What you were saying, Olin, the biggest component that we have to do right now is just be in communication with our clients, whether it's a good conversation or a tougher conversation. Now more than ever, where they feel like, oh, it's super easy to sell a house. And it's actually more stressful. Sometimes it feels like we just have to be communicating with our clients in either situation, so that they know that we're here working for them and that, you know, we're their resource.
Yeah, and those people that I'm talking about are aware that they have a, you know, small 1-bedroom with not a very large outdoor space in the center of the loop when people are working from home. So obviously they are understanding, and as long as we have that expectation set from the beginning, I think that's the most important thing, is super over the top communicate with your clients and just make sure that that you're not over promising, but that you're setting all the expectations from the beginning and you're both on the same page. I think that's the most important thing.
I think you guys are bringing up some just really great points. And it just goes to show that honestly, markets are so micro, right? Because everybody's hearing in the news that everything's flying and, you know, everything is super easy to sell. But Olin, to your point, there are pockets of the market where certain types of properties are maybe not moving as quickly. So I want to talk a little bit about pricing with both of you, because, you know, now there's crazy expectations, I think, with sellers out there, seeing what's happening in the market, seeing a lot of what's in the media. You know, how are the two of you having conversations with your sellers about pricing? You know, do you have a lot of them that want to come in and overprice and start out a lot higher? And, you know, what is your dialogue in order to make sure that you position well? And Olin, maybe we'll start with you.
Sure. A lot of the clients that are in this market are leaning on me to advise them. So they're not coming in with this straight away, I really, really want to overprice it and do X, Y, Z. So I try to have just a very, very honest conversation with them from the beginning. And my pricing strategy really hasn't changed a lot from previous to COVID and previous to this demand. So I'm just very honest with them upfront about pricing. And I'm able to speak about it from the listing side and the buying side, because I've lost out myself in many, many multiple offer situations. And so I'm able to use that example. And I'm so old school, and I keep a document of every offer I've made that went into a multiple offer, what the end result was, whether I won, lost, what the difference in price was. And not only for my knowledge, but I can also use that to speak to sellers and show them just exactly what the market is doing, right? So one in particular that I was going to say is, there was a discount brokerage that listed a home. Maybe it was like October of last year, and they listed it really, really low just to drive showings and get offers, and it worked. I ended up being one of 12 offers they received in the first 24 hours, and then it ended up selling for $65,000 above list price. But the key is that price point, that was almost 15% of its original list price, so it was just extremely underpriced. So what I do, And Young, I'm really interested in how you do it in Arlington Heights because I give my sellers three options and I say, here's, option A, we could list very low for multiples. B, we could list it really, really high and test the market, which neither one of those are my preferred strategy at the moment. Or C, we find out where we honestly feel like the home lands within this current market, and then we price accordingly. And most sellers do agree with this, and it's been super successful this far. I just don't think that overpricing it is going to get you very far because there's so many issues that we're having with either buyer's remorse and appraisals and fast moving and et cetera, whenever the multiple offers come in too high. And I also just don't want to be in that position where it's too low price. So that's the way that I talk to my clients about pricing from the very beginning.
I love it. Yeah, no, for me as well. And we must have gone through the same training and such, Olin, because I offer my clients the 3 different pricing strategies and kind of let them choose. One is pricing below the market, trying to create some sort of frenzy, which is not as necessary in today's market. But again, we offer that option. Then we offer the trying to find the needle in the haystack, setting the benchmark for the area pricing. And then of course, what fair market value kind of dictates where we should price this at. And then I give them the option to kind of choose, but also explain to them the strengths and also the possible pitfalls of them picking that strategy. But again, if you just offer somebody one option, then really their options are take your option or no. Whereas if you give them multiple options, then at least they're more inclined to select one of the suggested options. So even with my 4 kids, we try to offer them supposed options, but one of the options aren't great. They tend to take the less sucky option, but same thing. People want to feel like they're in control. And so we want to give them those options. But if they pick one where it's like, hey, we want to set the benchmark for the area, then we're like, okay, well, we can do that, but understand that you're going to get the most activity and the strongest offer typically within those first 2 weeks. So if we don't get that, and if we're not getting enough showings, the market is telling us what they think of your home's pricing, because all of selling a home is the marketing and the pricing. I feel like we do marketing second to none with that, partnered with that properties. And so it's just a matter of if we're marketing it and we're getting it in front of enough people and the public is not telling us that they're interested, then we're going to have to amend the price at some point in the future. But again, like Olin was saying, at least giving the clients the choice or the option, I feel like is the best way. And then just explaining the benefits or pitfalls like, hey, you know what, if we sell this in 12 hours, it's going to kind of put us in a crunch in terms of where you're going to need to move next. If you're okay with that, hey, let's go with the lower pricing and such, and just go through it that way.
And I know you guys talk a lot about, what we push on social media and how to be careful about that and not flash too much of the sold in 5 minutes, 30,000 over list price kind of idea. But if we do stick to our guns and keep marketing as fresh as it normally is, then it just still shows your clients and those who follow you on social media how the market is moving, and you're not over promising what you can do for them. Believe me, if I get 5 offers in the first hour, I'm extremely happy, but I don't want to promise that to everybody. So you have to also be very careful about what you do say to your market and to your social media following and any of your, current and past clients who want to sell again. And like you said, giving them these 3 options lets them know that you know what you're doing, but that you're also putting a little bit in their court as well, so that everybody together can make an informed decision. And I don't have kids young, but I do have those 2 conversations with my dogs as well about going outside. Right. So I feel what you're going through.
I appreciate that. Yes, it feels almost like herding cats at times, but yes.
All such really great information that both of you guys are giving, and I think the thing that is so interesting to me is that, yes, the market's moving fast and, it seems as if properties are easy to sell. But I think what the critical piece is for all of us as brokers right now is to be able to articulate selling it might be easy, but being able to keep a deal together and to closing is what can be so critical. So, and both of you spoke about the idea of communicating, over communicating with your clients, and then also communicating what is going to happen before it actually does. And I think that's where our clients will be seeing our value in this particular market. So I know the market is moving fast, and as a result of it, and I can hear it from both of you, we tend to become extremely transactional, just trying to keep up with all of our buyers and sellers and keeping deals together and getting people to closing. But we all know that we still always need to continue working on our business, right? Because if the market slows up, we want to make sure that we've got our pipeline. What are both of you doing right now to make sure that you can still kind of prospect or keep your pipeline full while you're also trying to manage the transaction load that you've got? And Young, let's start with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I continually try to work on and improve. But you're right, with the market being so busy, you do get caught up in just like transaction after transaction and or just trying to accommodate your clients' needs in such an ever-changing market like it is. But with that being said, I think it's even more important to be intentional about time blocking, time to grow your business, be in your business, as opposed to just working your business. And so like nowadays I set aside times in the mornings where I'm either planning with my assistant or just working on business planning on the weekend. So I try to get up early on a Saturday or Sunday and write out the things that I'd like to get accomplished for the week. Another thing that we try to be very intentional about is with the team is more frequent planning and tracking and measuring. So like implementing like 90-day goals. And when we do the 90-day goals, we try to focus on one thing that we want, like an overarching theme that we want to get accomplished in those 90 days. Because as we all know in this business, there's lots of ways to lead generate. There's lots of ways to get business. And sometimes, at least for me, I got caught up in like, oh, I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. Now we really don't have that time. And so being very intentional about like, okay, what's one thing that if I got done in the next 90 days, I'm going to feel like it was a successful 90 days. And then once you have that implemented, now you can move on to the next project because you already have one in place. So time blocking is very important for me. And then time blocking the being in your business, working on your business. And then usually I use mornings for like meetings, mastermind calls, following up with leads and or clients. And then afternoons, I try to do like transactional scheduling and such. Because if not, it is you just get caught up in the whirlwind of it. The other thing is just making sure that we have a good touch strategy for all our past clients and center of influence, and that we don't drop the ball. Some of the great things are the things that At offers with like the set it and forget it mailers, the monthly newsletters. Like all of these things are touch points that we can set up and that will automatically go out. Now you can't just have that be the only source, but it is so beneficial to try and automate as many of the things that we can so that we don't have that roller coaster of, oh my gosh, I'm busy. Oh my goodness, I have no business because I haven't been reaching out. So having that be more steady throughout, I think is very beneficial. So utilize the tools through At, and then just really focus on like, what's one thing I can get accomplished in the next 90 days? And then just time blocking to make sure that you're making it a priority. Because if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. So yeah, be more intentional about scheduling for me.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. I mean, time blocking, this little baby right here runs my life. And if I don't have it in my calendar, it's just not going to get done. And in how busy it is today, we absolutely have to focus on time blocking. And I also think making time for ourselves is super important. But time blocking is super important to keep everybody on track. And when it comes to ways to kind of keep working on my business throughout the day, Amy, we do have a pretty extensive marketing campaign that we run for our team. And my client service manager, Nick, and I are continuously sending out new marketing. We're really big on social media, trying to stay in front of our age group and people that are in our network, both current clients and also future clients, and just trying to always let them know that we're here as a resource. I'm actually doing a CAP event this week that I'm super excited about. I've connected with two of Chicago's funniest and campiest drag queens, and we're doing a trivia night, just a night for fun and just bring people together and just kind of get clients to do something different than their normal day-to-day life. And I think it's going to be really fun. I'm super excited about that. And I actually just started advertising just last week a new homebuyer event. I don't want to call it a seminar because we're trying to make it more relaxed. And Amy, I was telling you about this a little bit earlier. It's a homebuyer event that I am partnering with one of my lenders on called 4321 Home Ownership. And as any good nerd would do, it's on 4321, which is April 3rd. Get it? So, I mean, we only have this opportunity once, April 3rd, 2021. So I'm doing this like big 4321 home buyer explosion kind of fun thing, and giving folks the opportunity to join us. It is going to be on Zoom because of what we're going through, but just a great opportunity to learn more about the current market, ask any questions that you have. And it always keeps my pipeline engaged. I mean, I try to always make sure that I'm not only focusing transactionally right now on current clients, but also on past clients and making sure that they understand where the market is, and also trying to stay in front of future clients. That's always, it's kind of the good and the bad of our job, is to keep doing all of these things at once. And it's not easy. You're trying to make sure that you answer every email and answer every phone call for your current clients, but you absolutely can't forget about your past clients. And that's why doing these little CAP parties and CAP events and gives us so many opportunities to send things, through some of our vendors and partners. It stays in front of people. And so that's super important. And it gives them a reason to reach back out to us whenever they need something, where they have questions about the market.
Yeah. And if I could follow up on that, Olin said about self-care as well. I think that's just so important in today's market. Like, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't be taking care of our clients and the people that are relying on us. So as much as we get very busy, and of course we're all wanting to achieve more and do more, but unless we're at least carving out a little bit of time for ourselves and our loved ones, and that's what we were talking about on our Monday meeting with the team, we're not going to be able to serve our clients to the best we can. So that's huge. And then the other things are, like Olin was saying, like just remembering to reach out is so critical. And you guys always talk about now is as easy a time as ever to reach out to people and just be like, hey, I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. I know we haven't been able to connect, but just wanted to let you know you popped in my mind. Let me know if you need anything. No real estate, no anything like that. Just like the ninja selling talks about as well, being in flow with people. And so just reaching out, not mentioning real estate, not asking for referrals, but just being a presence in their lives, knowing that even though they bought or sold already, that you still value them is so important. And then the CAP gifts, or just showing appreciation. So we try to make a marketing calendar where every other month at least we're reaching out for one reason or another. So things we do are like pumpkin giveaways for Halloween, pie giveaways for Thanksgiving. We used to do movie things, free yogurt for back to school or end of school. This next week, we're going to do like a free cookie decorating kit, which we kind of stole from Proper Title or Proper Rate. But it's like, again, just things that we can do to offer and provide value, let them know we appreciate them, without always just asking for business, and just making sure you're intentional about that, but scheduling it again versus like thinking about it and then the time passes and you're like, oh man, now I just wasted an opportunity. So schedule. Yeah.
I can just envision what Amy looks like on her Peloton, like pedaling along and putting in her daily schedule. I can just see you doing it right now.
I'm laughing because Kevin just sent me a chat and he said, I dare you to say Peloton somehow on this call this morning.
It wouldn't be a call without it. It wouldn't be a call without anybody about the Peloton.
You're probably sitting on one right now. For all we know.
Exactly.
Right, I'm pedaling.
Yeah, you said self-care, and I know she was like Peloton.
Right? Exactly. I know my trainer said that this morning.
Well, thank you both. This has been great. So many great things shared, from what we're working in our business now to working on our business for the future. And we really appreciate you sharing your expertise, what you're doing, your outlook on the market. To continued success. Cheers. And thank you for joining us on Coffee today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
Great Tuesday. Thanks for joining us.